Hi, everybody. I'm Bill Sanders, and this is Watch Outside, the art and science of watch collection. Today, what I want to talk about is one watch model that has many different elements to it, namely the Breguet Classique. Now, over the years, ownership in Breguet has changed quite a bit. Initially, you had the Breguet family, Abraham Breguet and his children, grandchildren. After that, I think it was almost 100 years, the Brown family. Brown was a guy who worked in one of Breguet's factory, he managed it, I guess, and so he took over for quite a while. He had it until I think around 1970. Now, where I want to start is in 1975 to 1988, where you had the Chomet brothers came in and they wanted to bring it back to the glory days of Abraham Breguet. And the thing about it is that the the work of Daniel Roth was so good. A lot of people, I think, would actually prefer one of his watches to one that was actually done by Breguet. Not many, but some might. Okay, so let's get started. We're going to start off with the Chomet years, and this is when the Chomet brothers bought the watch company, and they set about to restore it to the Breguet of old. By the time they took over, there was, I think, like one or two watches that they had. Both were on contract with the French Army and Navy, I believe, and that was it. And so what they wanted to do, they wanted to bring back the more classic dress watch. One of the first ones was the reference 3130 and the caliber 502. By the way, too, if you're looking for something with caliber 502, there are different ones. Some of the 502s have silicon hairsprings in them, others don't. The thing, if you can find it, is to find one that has caliber 502 DR, which stands for Daniel Roth. Now, I found that these sold for a fairly large range of from 7,000 all the way up to 30,000. Um, so the 3130 and the 3330, the 33330, are two watches that are by or designed by Daniel Roth, and they have a Frederick Piguet caliber 71 base. Now, having mentioned that, I should mention that Daniel Roth also had a lot of stuff that he did with Lamania. We'll see a little more about that later. Okay, now moving right along here, we got again through the Chomet years. Um, this one that was the Breguet Classique chronograph, 3237. This one was powered by the Lamania 2310 IBOS. And the Breguet Classic chronographs, the 3237, it combines the white gold, which isn't, apparently they didn't do too many white gold. Most of them were yellow gold or rose gold. And they had a hand-finished guilloche dial. And it was one of the first models introduced by Breguet following the brand's resuscitation by the Chomet brothers with their master watchmaker, Daniel Roth. The Breguet Classic Perpetual Calendar 3050 is another one. Now, both of these watches are fairly expensive. The chronograph was around 30,000, and the perpetual calendar was around between 30 and 50,000 roughly. These are fairly expensive ones. So, okay. Now, the Chomet brothers got into trouble. They tried to corner the diamond market, and some bad things happened. They ended up owing 300 million, either dollars or Swiss francs or whatever it was, and they had to declare bankruptcy, and of course they had to sell Breguet. So, if you're looking for one, why is it important to know this? Well, I think it's important to know under what circumstances the watch for sale is was or is being made. Okay, now Investacor, when they bought it, um, they they had it for a relatively short period of time, from 1987 to 1999. It's 10 years. It sounds like a lot, but I think the Chomet brothers had it a lot longer. Now, the one on the left, the Breguet caliber 818 movement, and this was in the Classique Power Reserve. It's 3380. And this one of the problems that you'll find with Breguet is that they tend to be small. And this one, the one on the left, is 35 and a half millimeters, and the one on the right is only 30 millimeters. And if you have a smaller wrist and you like that, you got it made. I'll put it that way. Okay, now the Investacor, after they had it for a number of years, they really didn't do a great deal for developing anything new, but they sort of were the caretakers of it. Now, in 1999, Swatch bought them, and there were two phases when Swatch owed them. I call them the pre-silicon and the post-silicon. In 2006, Breguet started using silicon hairsprings. This was from a gift from Swatch, the Swatch Corporation who owned them. They liked to use them because they were just less hassle, and they're very accurate and all kinds of good things about them. But some people figured they weren't playing by the rules, so to speak. Anyway, so here too on this. Now the 3910 is that's got it's called a Breguet caliber 818/5 movement, and it's 34 and a half millimeters, the width of the dial. Now the other one, the Classique 5140, is 40 millimeters. Now you're getting into a fairly modern size. The caliber 502, now remember we talked about 502, and since this is the pre-silicon era, you're not going to find silicon hairsprings and escapements and other things in the caliber 5, in this caliber 502 movement. The prices on this were between 10 and 20,000. On the 3910, I found them between about 6,800 and 8,600. Both of them are, very classic style of Breguet. Now, the last one sort of brings us up to date where we are now. And this is from the ones from 2006, and the present. This is when they started putting in silicon. Here you have the Classique 5177. It has a caliber 777Q in it. Now this, I think, was the very first one that had the silicon, the movement with that in it. And this one ran at 4 hertz, and nothing especially remarkable about it. Now, on the other hand, the 5157, it was also automatic, but it ran at 3 hertz, which I like a lot more. 45 hours reserve, and here I found them between about 11,000 and 27,000. It's a big difference. And so when you're looking for it, you want to look at all kinds of things, okay? I wish I could say, oh, well, use this movement and not this movement, but I can't. And the reason is that the silicon went into both references, like the 502. Okay, some were regular, or some were made with transitional metals. Others were made with silicon. So if you're interested in buying one, there are a lot and lots of choices for you to make. For myself, what I would like to do eventually, I'd like to get one that is done by Daniel Roth, and that's sort of would be my goal. And so I could go to that period and find one that I could afford, and so forth. Well, listen, I would really, really like to hear from you. If one, you're thinking of getting a Breguet Classique. Two, if you have one, I'd like to hear what you think about it. And anything else that you'd like to comment on. And this is an opportunity to subscribe if you like. And until next time, this is Bill Sanders for Watch Outside, the Art and Science of Watch Collection.